Hey, well, hello, friends and colleagues. Warmest welcome. I'm Donna Lawani in Clinical Outreach and very thrilled to have you with us. And I am joined by psychotherapist Dr. James Wisecup from Riverside Counseling Center in Stamford, Connecticut. And Dr. Wisecup, you are an amazing counselor and friend to the Amen Clinics and a valued brain health certification coaching course program member. And I was so thrilled that you were willing to come together in the conversation together. We talked about so many different things that can be of help and of service to others. So I wanted to give us a little time to talk and connect.
Sounds good.
Fantastic. And on that note, we had our first starter conversations about preparation. And right now, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic, so many folks are looking for resources and what can we do, both being prepared and helping ourselves, helping our loved ones, and in the clinical and professional community too. So I want to give us some time for conversation for that.
Sounds good.
Excellent. So you were talking a little bit about the Boy Scout model. So tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. When I was a young person, I was in Boy Scouts and Explorer Scouts, became an Eagle Scout eventually. And the Boy Scout model, excuse me, is be prepared. And that is be prepared for anything that comes your way. And the attitude of, I can handle this, I can deal with this. So, and as a Boy Scout, if you're going hiking or camping off into the woods or the wilderness, you need to have three things. One is a good pocket knife. Okay, this is like my Swiss Army knife. The other is a really good compass, so you find your way. And three waterproof matches. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So with those three things, you're really prepared. And I want to use those items as sort of an analogy for our attitudes. And
Absolutely.
so that in the midst of this coronavirus epidemic, how do we really have the attitude that facilitates and helps us and others to get through this? So there's three things: survive, adapt, and thrive.
That's
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And so the most important attitude in terms of surviving is having an attitude of gratitude, being grateful, first of all, for waking up in the morning, for being alive, and for having food, maybe for having some money, for having friends and family, for having work, if we do. Okay, so there's a lot to be grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we may be struggling, we may be suffering, we may be sick, we may be dying, we still have a lot to be grateful for. And some people would question that and say, well, how can I be grateful if I'm sick or I'm dying? And in the midst of struggling and suffering, there is a redemptive experience. And the redemptive experience is, I am not alone. You are not alone. We're in this together.
That's right. We are a community together. And, I really see that. And I feel such gratitude, for us having this conversation together, for sharing it also with others. And we're at the mindset, too, that we're part of a Brain Warrior community, right?
Yeah. Yes.
We are. We really are. And, outside, too, we're seeing others that are going through, on the front lines. Many of our first responders, our healthcare workers, those that are putting their lives and their service for others are part of this warrior community. Many of our military that are jumping in right now at this time. So I feel so much appreciation for others that are giving service. And I've heard Dr. Amen and his wife, Tana Amen. So Dr. Amen, of course, is our founder and CEO of Amen Clinics, neuroscientist, researcher, and he's a 10-time New York Times bestselling author. And in the Brain Warriors Way, he and his wife Tana, health and fitness expert, and New York Times bestselling author, also share this, turning this sort of pain into purpose and into a passion, and about that attitude and mindset and being prepared at any point.
Yes.
So it really comes to resonate for me when I hear you share that about the Boy Scout and being prepared. And as in the counseling community, how many folks right now, and our physicians too, are trying to be prepared for service and be there for others.
I want to share one little story with you. The Interfaith Council of Stamford is a group of churches, synagogues, mosques, and religious organizations that work together. And the director sent out this inspirational message a few days ago. And it was quoting Admiral William H. McRaven, who was the commander of special operations back with the Navy SEALs. And he was telling this story, Admiral McRaven, to a commencement back in, I think, 2014 or 17, something like that, in Texas, University of Texas. And he said, here's the story. The Navy SEAL training team started out as 250 men. And 3 months later, they were down to 59. A lot had dropped out because it was too hard. They gave up. And the instructor took them out one evening on the muddy flats of the river between San Diego and Tijuana. And it was a swamp, a bog. And he had 59 men crawl out in their bellies and then stand in the mud and the muck. They were up to their necks in mud. And he had them standing there for hours. And then he said to them, if 5 of you guys will just quit, I'll let the rest of you out and you can have hot showers and food. What a temptation. And a few guys started to move out. And then a voice rang up in the darkness, singing. Off tune, of course. And he sang. And I don't know what he really sang, but my fantasy is that he sang, "We shall overcome someday."
Yes.
And a second voice and a third voice started singing. And the instructor got so angry, he said, "Shut up, be quiet, or I'll keep you in there all night." And before you knew it, all 59 men were singing as one.
Wow.
And they sang all night. And in the morning, they walked out together, unified as a team.
Absolutely.
So Admiral McRaven said, this is like now in our time, we're up to our necks in mud, in difficulty, yet we must keep singing.
That's right. And so much stronger all together when we come together as one.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So whatever we can do to come together, to work together. And in the shamanic tradition, the Native American tradition, it's very important to be able to sing your song, to dance your dance, okay, to tell a good story, to have a sense of purpose and meaning and direction.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Absolutely. Sharing that all together as one.
Yeah.
I feel so very moved by hearing that. And I thank you for sharing that. There's so much that we can learn about coming together, being of service. And I think for also that call to action that each and every one of us has, right, in our community, there's always something that we can do.
Yes.
And I think for others that I've seen that have also sort of taken that sort of pain into purpose, or challenging situation in an obstacle into something that moves, kind of like the stone when rolled at the top of the hill, it has this kinetic energy of motion that
Right.
gets stronger and stronger. And so we can turn this sort of obstacle and the stone into something much more positive in the current of movement. It
Yes.
could be helping our neighbors. It could be coming together. Right now, I see others coming together for online communities of support and getting connected for these kinds of telephone and virtual platforms for counseling and support, even to see
Right.
you. And I know you're doing that, and we're doing that too in the clinics with our physicians, to be there and be present for others. But each of us should feel and think about and reflect on, what can we do as we both start our day with our intention? How can we help and be of service to others? And also that expression of gratitude for many of the blessings that we have.
Yes.
I think for me, it takes me out of myself too when I share that kind of moment of silence and mindfulness and diaphragmatic breathing, whether it be kind of the waking of the day
Yes.
and listening as my body begins to come into this consciousness, moving my feet or my fingers, thinking about who will I be speaking with and connecting with today? How can I help?
Yes.
Reach out to my neighbor who may need food right now and be unable to go and step out, or someone else who needs support for their supplements, medication, others that are counseling on nutrition and help for
Right.
immune systems and fuel, right? There's something we can always do to
Yes.
ignite our passion and purpose in our Brain Warrior community. So we ignite and invite all of you to ignite that within yourselves. So glad that we've gotten a chance to have this conversation, Dr. James Weisskopf, and for all of you that are joining us and listening and tuning in today. It's so important that you feel connected with our community of practice. And if there's something that we can do to be of service to you, please let us know. And
You
all
are not alone. You are not alone.
absolutely. We are not alone. We are together in this. So
Yes.
thank you again.
Thank you.
Great day.